Hello my friend and welcome to my channel Faisal Azib. In this video we need to go back to value types. So types are one of the fundamental aspects in programming, and converting between types is something that we do in every programming language. For example, converting a string to a number or a number into a boolean is something that we do all the time. And so it's important that we learn about this before being able to move on other things in this course. That's especially true for a language like JavaScript, which sometimes behaves in a weird way, as we will see in this video. Now, in JavaScript, there is type conversion and also we have type coercion. So they sound very similar, I know, but are different. So type conversion is when we manually convert from one type to another. On the other hand, type coercion is when JavaScript automatically convert type behind the scene for us. So that's necessary in some situation, but it happens implicitly, completely hidden from us. Okay? So let's start with type conversion, which remember is when we explicitly want to convert from one type to another. So let's say, for example, we have an input field on a web page for the user to input their birth year. And this input from input fields usually come as a string. So let's say the input const input year that we get from the user interface is a string with the value string 1981, for example. Okay? But now, if we want to do some calculation with this variable, this won't really work. So let me show you what I mean. So if I do console.log input year plus here 18, okay, do you know what I got here or no? And so like this we can calculate in what year the person will become of full age. Now remember that when we have a string and added something to the string, it will basically concatenate a string. So we can't expect that this actually adds 18 to this number here, 1981, because it is a string. So let me show you what I mean in the console. So I reload. As you can see, what we have here, we get a string which is basically contains the 1981 string and then the 18 as well. Okay, so we concatenate this 18 to the variable input here. So here we need a way of fixing this, of course, which means that we need a way of converting this string to a number. So let's do that in the log. Then the way we convert this string to a number is by using the built-in called number function, number of function. So I will write it here. So you write number like this, okay, and you open parentheses. And inside the function, I will talk about function after, of course, don't worry about this. Inside the parentheses, we put the number, the string that we want to convert. So here it is input here, okay, like this. And we will learn exactly what the function is and why it works this way in the next section, inshallah. But before this, I will just add another console log. I will just convert a number without adding a new value to show the result, like this. And here, and here I let it like this. Okay, you see the difference, just see the difference, of course, like this. For now, just know that we can basically convert a string to a numbers by using this function number, which we execute using this parenthesis here. Okay, so we have this parenthesis inside this value, but don't get confused by that. It's very, very important. So doing this operation here, we'll then return the string as a number. So let me show you. So I upload, indeed, as you can see, now it is other color, of course. Now we have a number, and we of course check that, don't worry. You can see it is different color. It is blue here. Okay, maybe it's different, so the color may change through the time. Okay, so by the time I record this video, numbers are blue and string are just black, as you can see here, or maybe red, maybe. Okay, so let me actually print both the value before to convert and after to convert the variable. So I mean I can do like this. I will print also the previous one and the both to see two value before and after conversion. Here is them. As you can see, the string is in black, and here the number after conversion is in blue. Okay, it is now, I think, very clear and really visible. Okay, but now one thing that's really important to note here is that the original value, it's very important, what I will say now, is actually not converted. I repeat, the original value is actually not converted. So the input here, variable here itself, stays string. Okay, is still string for this moment, right? So it still holds the variable 1981 as a string and not as a number. That's why down here in this log, where we do this calculation, okay, the result is still string, as you can see. Okay, using this number function will simply give to us a converted version. Okay, it's very important, it doesn't change the variable. Okay, so if you want to perform this calculation, we need to use a number here as well. So what I have to do here, same thing, number, like this. Now I have converted my variable to a number. Now I can add it with 18. Okay, and so now we should end up with something like, I think, 19. Okay, so let's see. Indeed, okay, that's right, and it is in blue, so it means it is a number. But now, what if you are trying to convert something to a number that is impossible to convert? So let's try that. Let's try that with a string that doesn't really contain a number. So let's try to do in console converting. So console.log. For example, I want to convert the string Faisal, for example. It is not a number Faisal. Okay, here what I will got. Oops. So JavaScript, we will look here at a string. We'll try to convert it to a number, but it won't really work. So what do we get instead? Let's see. We got Faisal here. There is no sense. It is, sorry, I forgot to add the number. Sorry, number. Sorry. So what we got now? We got none, which stands for not a number. None means not a number. Okay? So JavaScript gives us this not a number value whenever an operation that involves numbers fails to produce a new numbers. So JavaScript gives us this not a number value whenever an operation that involves numbers fails to produce new number. So basically, not a number actually means invalid number. Okay? I repeat, it means invalid number. It is not really not a number. And let me actually prove that to you. So what I will use here, directly here, I can use console.log. I want to see the type of this one. You know how to do this. So type of and not a number. Okay? So what we got here. So let's see. What is the result? It is number. As we will see, the real result of this, it is the type of not number is actually number. So again, not a number actually means a non-valid number. It is still number of somehow, but it is non-valid one. Okay. And so again, we got not a number whenever an operation involving numbers fail to give us a new number. Okay. So that is converting string to a number, but of course, we can also do the opposite. It's a little bit less important, I would say, but I still want to show it to you. So let's do, for example, console.log. And here, to convert a number to a string, what we use a string function between parentheses, and here I put a number, for example, 50. Okay. So to do it the other way around, we use this string function, and that's quite straightforward, right? Just keep in mind that we need to really start with a capital S or capital N. Okay. Just like the number function, it starts with capital N. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Okay, it's very, very important to start with first letter with capital case. So let's see now the result. And see, we got 50, but in color black. That means it is a string. Okay. So the blue, remember, it is a foreign number. So again, this one, it is not an important, but I still wanted to mention it. Okay. Now, JavaScript can only convert to three types. So we can convert to a number, to a string, or to a boolean. But we cannot, for example, convert something to undefined or to null. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Now here, we only converted to a numbers and to string, but now to booleans, and that's because boolean behave in a special way. And for that reason, there is separate video coming up and so-called truthy and faulty values. Great. So that is a type conversion where we do manually convert from one type to another. However, in practice, we rarely have to do it manually because JavaScript actually does type coercion automatically for us in many situations. So let's talk about that now. And let's just separate this here with some comment. So here I will put type conversion. And here when we start a new one, I will put type coercion. Okay. So basically, type coercion happens whenever an operation is dealing with two values that have different types. So in that case, JavaScript will then, behind the scenes, convert one of the values to match the other value so that in the end, the operation can be executed. And actually, we already saw that happening if you think about this. So let me show you what I mean. So here I will write console.log and I will write, of course, I am something like this. I am, oops, okay, something I will start with string, of course, huh? And remember how we do this. I am then number, let's say, plus, so space, let's say I want to add the value about years, 35, and then another plus, okay, and I will write, for example, here, I will start another string, so space years old, something like this. So we already know that it's gonna produce a string that says I am 35 years old, okay, so simple. We can see this, of course. Where is it? I am 35 years old. We know this. But how does that actually work? That is the question. Because 35 is a number, so we have a different type here, right? So we have a string, a number, and another string. Okay, I repeat. I have a string, a number, and another string. And it works this way because of type coercion. Okay, so in JavaScript, the plus operator that we used here triggers a coercion to a string. And so whenever there is an operation between a string and the number will be converted automatically to a string. So thanks to type coercion. Okay, writing this will be exactly the same as writing this. Same thing. Okay, right? Because again, the plus operator will convert number to a string. And the same actually happens in template literals. It also takes all the numbers of value and also convert them to a string. Now, if JavaScript did now have automatic type coercion, like many others language don't, then we would have to manually do this, like we just learned before. Then we would have to do a string like this. Okay? And then this will be the only way that this would work. But luckily for us, JavaScript has type coercion, and so this will happen completely automatically behind the scene. Okay? Now actually, not all the operators do type coercion to a string. So let me show you something else. So if we do console.log, if we do here 35 string minus 10 string minus 5 number, what do you think will happen now? So let's actually check, and it gives 20. So what happened here? It looks like this time JavaScript converted the string to numbers, and indeed that's why we got 20 here. Okay, because 35 minus 10 is 25, minus 5 is 20. And so what this means is that the minus operator actually triggers the opposite conversion. In this case, strings are converted to numbers and not the other way around. So instead, if we use the plus here, what do you think the result will be? What do you think? Do you have any idea? So here, 5 is converted to a string, and then the 3 strings are concatenated, and we got, as you can see, 35, 10, and 5 in one string. Okay? So this is very important distinction to keep in mind, because this actually confuses many JavaScript beginners when they don't know about this. So let's try another one here. for example, console.log, and here I will write 35 as string, multiply or times 2 string, okay, like this. And again you will see that this value are gonna be converted to numbers before. And let's see this. Indeed, we got 70. That's why we got 70, because both of them, 35 and 2 strings, are now converted to numbers, because that's the only way that the multiplier operator can work. And the same, of course, is true for dividing, of course. As if I make here divided instead of multiplication, we got, of course, a number 17.5. Okay, good. Now, one final example is logical operator. So let's check. 35 in a string, okay, greater than, for example, 18 as a string. Okay, so do you think this is going to work? Do you think or no? Let's see. Indeed, it works. So the string is still greater than 18, the string, because once more, JavaScript will convert string to numbers automatically. The only way in which it doesn't do that is the plus operator. The only way. Remember this, okay? And plus operator, again, it happens the other way around. All the numbers are converted to strings. Okay? So I hope that distinction is now pretty clear. So just make sure that you already got it. Let's play a game called to guess the output. So I want to guess what happens. What happens here? So I will write let n, because it will change after, let n equal one string plus one number. Okay, and then I will do n equal, I will assign new value, it is n minus one number. Okay, so now I will log this n, console.log n, and here, what do you think n we will look like when we log it in the console? Try to understand this very well. Try. What do you think? So essentially we start with 1 as string. Okay? Then we added 1 as a number. Okay? So, and then we added 1, and then we subtract 1 as a number. Okay? And so take a moment to think what this should look like. And then let's now reload our page to look at the solution, and it is done. So that's a bit counterintuitive, but according to the rules that we just learned before, it actually makes sense. Let's see this. So here, in the first line, 1 plus 1 will actually turns to be 11, okay? Remember, plus is string, so it is concatenation. It will be 11. Okay, so this one here, and will be equal to a string 11, like this. Because we have one string, and then the plus operator automatically convert a number to a string. But then here, what we have the minus operator, okay? And in the minus operator, whenever we have a string or more string, it will then convert it to a number. And so here, the string 11 will be converted to 11, the number, and then 11 minus 1 is of course 10. Okay, so here n equal to 10 number, like this. So let's do one or two more, and let's do it in the console here directly. Okay, and you can actually clear the console if you want to remove all this log here by clicking on in this icon. Okay, like this. So let's do something here. Let's write 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Okay, and now you actually can already guess because you can already see the solution here. Okay, so let's try to understand this result 95 as a string. So what happens here? So we start here with 2 plus 3, which means which makes 5. Then 5 plus 4 makes 9. And then we end up with 9 plus 5, the string. And then, as you already know, since we have a string, the plus operator will convert the other operand, which is 9, also to a string. And then we end up with 9, 5 as a string. Okay, or 95 as a string. Let's do another one. So for example, string 10 minus string 4 minus 3 minus 2 plus 5. Okay, and then keep in mind that these are strings, and then the minus the real number 2, but then plus 5 to a string. Okay, so it looks like I know very weird, but the logic is kind of the same as before. Nothing changed here. So we have two values that are subtracted, and then JavaScript will convert in both to numbers, and then the result of this is 6. Then 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay, then 3 minus 2 is 1, and then we end up with the same situation as before. So this one will be converted, this one will be converted to a string, and then we end up with a string 15. Okay, and with that I think this will be pretty clear now. I hope. And you might be wondering why we are talking so much about this, but it is really important that you know about this right from the start, so that you can write your code with all of this in mind. Now, many people actually don't like type coercion and think that it is a bad practice to rely on type coercion. One reason for that is that type coercion can in fact introduce many unexpected bugs into our program or our code. However, this only happens when we don't really know what we are doing. It's the only reason. So when we don't know about the stuff that is just show you, because if you know, then it is way easier to avoid these errors. So in my opinion, coercion is actually a great mechanism that is going to allow us to write a lot less code and also to write more readable code. So really, make sure to take some time to understand how type coercion works, and then just embrace in your code. So in the next video, inshallah, as I said, we talk about truthy and falsy values. I hope I understand this very well. Just practice. See you in the next video, inshallah. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel Faisal Azib and to click in the bell to receive all new videos, and to follow me on Instagram, teams.winners, and also Faisal.chico. In Telegram, Lean Practice and Char, and Twitters, team's winners. Take care of us. I tell you goodbye. Wassalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.